Welcome to another episode of Doing Iffy Business podcast talk show, where we discuss and critique business behaviors and practices that you, our listeners, have asked us about, brought to you by WeTeach.Stream.
Today, we're diving deep into a phrase that's, well, it's practically a mantra in modern business culture. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. You hear it everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And its close cousin, the sort of relentless hustle mentality. You've definitely heard it. You probably even considered it.
Yeah, I think most people have encountered it.
But what are the true implications for your business, your team, and ultimately your bottom line? We've gathered insights from a really interesting Reddit thread that sparked quite a debate, plus psychological studies and some sharp takes from business experts.
Right. To really explore when this advice might actually help.
Yeah, when it helps, when it just falls flat, and crucially, when it can actually lead to, well, disaster.
Especially for SMEs, right? Small and medium-sized businesses.
Absolutely. That context is key.
So let's unpack this idea and see what it truly means for fostering authentic, sustainable success. It really does seem like you can't avoid it. Open a business magazine, go to a startup workshop. There it is. Fake it till you make it.
It's definitely pervasive.
And it pops up in culture, too. I mean, you think about Simon and Garfunkel's song Fakin' It, or movies like Trading Places.
Yeah, where he bluffs his way onto the trading floor.
Exactly. Or even Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, that's an extreme version, creating a whole new persona. And of course, Amy Cuddy's famous TED Talk on power poses.
Right, the idea that acting confident can make you feel confident.
It all seems to suggest that if you just imitate the confidence or the skills, eventually they'll become real.
Yeah, and that's tapping into something with a pretty long history, actually. Its original intent was maybe a bit different from how we often see it used today.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, sociologically, you could connect it to Robert Merton's idea of the self-fulfilling prophecy, a prediction that causes behavior making the prediction come true. And psychologically, Alfred Adler, back in the 1920s, he had this technique called acting as if. It was meant therapeutically.
Therapeutically?
Yeah, to help people sort of rise to the occasion, to push through feelings of being unprepared by, well, acting prepared, using hard work. The idea was to build genuine confidence and skills over time by behaving as if you already had them.
So more about aspiration and effort than deception.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But the modern take, and this really came through in that Reddit thread we looked at, has often skewed much darker.
How darker?
Well, many people now see it as a justification for, frankly, laziness or for allowing shady practices. Some even call it cheat it till you make it.
Wow, cheat it until you make it. That's blunt.
It is. And that shift, unfortunately, connects to some massive frauds we've seen. It also ties into that whole hustle culture, this intense pressure to always project confidence, success, constant grinding, even if things are actually falling apart behind the scenes. Appearance over substance.
Okay, that distinction is huge. So there's faking confidence to beat self-doubt, and then there's faking competence, which sounds like deception.
Exactly. Two very different things.
Let's explore the first one, though. Where can fake it till you make it be genuinely helpful, particularly for personal growth, maybe overcoming imposter syndrome in an SME context? What are the psychological upsides?
Well, in the right context, used carefully, it can be quite useful for behavioral health. Like I mentioned, psychotherapy uses acting as if or opposite action.
Right, the Adler thing.
Yeah. So for someone with a phobia, maybe they're encouraged to fake a bit of courage, to approach the thing they fear instead of avoiding it. That action can help rewire the brain's response.
Okay, facing the fear, even if you don't feel brave initially.
Exactly. Or someone dealing with depression might be encouraged to engage in activities, get moving, even if they feel zero motivation. That behavioral accusation can sometimes help lift the fog. There was a University of Ottawa study suggesting it's maybe less about forcing a smile to change your mood and more about building flexibility in how you regulate emotions, being able to choose the right strategy for the situation. That flexibility is really key for well-being.
So it's about trying out behaviors that might lead to better feelings or outcomes.
Yes, precisely. And it's definitely recognized as a strategy for tackling imposter syndrome.
Ah, yes. Feeling like a fraud despite your success.
Right. And you'd be surprised how common that is, even among highly accomplished people like, say, neurosurgeons. They might feel like they haven't truly earned their place.
Neurosurgeons.
Absolutely. So in those cases, faking it Maybe acting with the confidence expected of their role can be a temporary bridge. It helps them step into the role while they work on internalizing their actual achievements.
Okay, so it's a coping mechanism while the self-belief catches up.
Exactly. It's more about changing your behavior to improve yourself. Maybe you mimic the good habits of a colleague you admire to become more productive. It's not about fundamentally changing who you are or being dishonest about your skills. It's about growth.
That makes sense. Using it as a tool for genuine self-improvement. A stepping stone. But, and this is the big but, isn't it? How does this strategy, meant for personal growth, morph into the kind of deception that, well, brings down companies? This is where it gets really critical for SMEs because the risks seem enormous.
This is exactly where that Reddit discussion hit hard. The core argument there was that FI2IMI is often twisted to justify holding positions without having the actual competence needed.
Right, getting the job without the skills.
Yes. And it's not just individuals. This can infect an entire company culture, leading to that cheat it until you make it environment we talked about.
And for an SME owner or employee, that must be exhausting.
Incredibly. Constantly focusing on external appearances, trying to look better than you are, it doesn't build real confidence. It just ramps up stress, anxiety, and it chips away at your self-worth. Because deep down, you know you're faking competence, not just confidence. It's a recipe for burnout.
So it's a slippery slope from, say, projecting optimism to outright lying.
It's a terrifyingly slippery slope. It often starts small, maybe a little exaggeration, a bit of what William James called the will to believe. But each little embellishment can set a psychological precedent. It makes the next compromise, the next exaggeration, a bit easier to justify.
And then it snowballs.
Exactly. We've seen it spectacularly with things like Firefest. Huge promises, zero reality.
Oh, definitely.
Or Elizabeth Holmes at Theranos, promising revolutionary tech that just didn't work, and the deception grew and grew. Sam Bankman-Fried at FTX is another recent massive example where initial issues and maybe some faking it spiraled into alleged huge financial crimes.
It wasn't necessarily planned fraud from day one, maybe.
Perhaps not always. But when the promised breakthroughs don't happen, the pressure to keep up the facade, to keep faking it, can lead down a very dark path. Even look at Anna Sorokin, faking her entire identity in finances. The pretense became her reality.
And you mentioned outcome bias. How does that fit in?
Yeah. That's crucial. We tend to judge actions based on whether they succeeded, not necessarily on whether they were ethical at the time. Think of Frederick Smith gambling FedEx's last $5,000 in Vegas to make payroll.
Right, that's legendary now, visionary.
Because it worked. But if he'd lost, he'd likely been seen as reckless, maybe criminal. The line between visionary and fraud can be uncomfortably thin, and often only clear in hindsight.
And for an SME, crossing that line isn't just blurry, it can be fatal, right? Much faster than for a huge corporation.
Absolutely. The consequences hit harder and faster. For SMEs, faking it in core operations can be, well, like death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, okay, let's break that down. What are some specific impacts on SME operations and culture?
We'll start with leadership. An SME leader constantly faking competency. That destroys trust. Plain and simple. Teams disengage. The environment turns toxic. Real leaders admit what they don't know and seek help. That builds trust.
Okay, leadership trust. What else?
Financial practices. Falsifying numbers, maybe to look good for a loan or investors. That's not just bad practice, it's potentially illegal. Huge fines, reputational ruin. It can kill the business.
Right, the core financials have to be real.
Then there's customer interaction. If you oversell what your SME can do or lie about expertise to win a contract, you'll end up with unhappy customers, bad reviews, and a damaged brand that's incredibly hard to fix in a small market.
Makes sense. What about internal stuff, like payroll?
Oh, definitely. Any deceit there, misrepresenting benefits, delaying payments because you're covering something else up that leads to legal trouble, rock bottom morale, and completely breaks the trust with your employees. You need that trust.
And marketing. Branding.
Misleading claims might grab attention short term, but customers see through it eventually. It alienates them, can attract regulatory attention, and erodes your brand value. Same with partnerships. Misleading potential collaborators burns bridges and loses opportunities. And HR. Falsifying job descriptions, lying about the company culture to recruits. That leads straight to high turnover and unhappy staff. It's just not sustainable.
So it's like a constant stressful juggling act that's bound to fail.
Pretty much. An environment built on faking it is inherently unstable.
And it sounds like this mindset doesn't just cause ethical problems. It actively creates a toxic workplace culture, right? Affecting everyone. And you mentioned the hustle culture amplifying this.
Exactly. The hustle demands this performance of constant success, always being on, always crushing it. It masks burnout, masks struggles. And research, worryingly, shows that often confidence, not competence, gets people promoted faster, paid more.
That's not great.
No. It creates this awful incentive for people to embellish, maybe even lie in hiring or for promotions. Presentation trumps the substance. And for many people, particularly women, minorities, LGBTQ plus individuals, this pressure to fake it means masking their true selves at work. It forces conformity to a narrow idea of success, stifling diversity and authenticity.
That's a really important point about masking identities.
It is, and ironically, all this faking it can actually worsen imposter syndrome
How so?
because you're spending so much energy maintaining the facade. It makes you feel more fraudulent, not less. It's an exhausting cycle that leads straight to burnout.
Wow. And the financial instability part.
Yeah, for individuals and SMEs, FTMI in finances often looks like keeping up with the Joneses. Spending money you don't have, taking on debt to project an image of success that isn't real. For an SME, making unsound financial decisions based on image rather than reality is a direct road to failure.
Okay, this paints a pretty stark picture. The risks seem to vastly outweigh any short-term benefits of pretending.
Generally, yes. For
Yeah.
sustainable success, absolutely.
So, for the business owner, the leader listening right now, who wants to build something real, ethical, and lasting, what's the alternative? Let's explore some actual strategies for genuine growth.
Okay, the fundamental shift, I think, is in the language and the mindset. Forget fake it. Think, practice it until you become it.
Practice it. I like that.
Yeah. It means acknowledging where you are, your strengths and weaknesses, taking ownership, and actually earning the success through effort and learning. That builds real internal value, real self-worth.
So it's about action, not pretense.
Exactly. Like the saying, be the change you want to see. Focus on concrete actions and embrace practice makes perfect, meaning view failure as a learning tool, not something to hide.
Easier said than done sometimes, embracing failure.
Oh, absolutely. But instead of faking it past challenges, actively face your challenges head on. Break them down, tackle them step by step. Often the fear of the unknown is worse than the reality.
Okay, so mindset shift. Practice it, face it. What about building that authentic confidence and competence day to day?
Start with the basics, your physical presence, good eye contact, firm handshake, good posture. Work on cutting out nervous habits like fidgeting or filler words like too much.
The nonverbals matter.
They really do. Also, actively reflect on your past wins, even small ones. Remind yourself of what you have accomplished. That builds genuine self-belief.
Acknowledge accomplishments. Got it.
And remember, you're not alone if you feel imposter syndrome. Talk about it. Lean on your network, your community. Shared experience helps normalize it.
Find your people.
Definitely. And seek mentorship. Good mentors offer invaluable advice, help you navigate those fears, and studies show they significantly boost job satisfaction and feeling valued.
Mentorship is huge. What else?
Set realistic, SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. This turns vague ambitions into concrete steps, showing real progress, which builds confidence.
SMART goals. Classic for a reason.
Right. And be kind to yourself. Celebrate the milestones. Success isn't usually a straight line. And back to failure, truly embrace it, especially in an SME.
Why especially SMEs?
Because unlike big companies that can maybe absorb a big mistake, SMEs need to learn fast. Every failure, every misstep is critical market feedback. You have to learn, pivot, adapt. Don't let perfectionism paralyze you or make you hide mistakes. View them as data.
Okay, that's powerful. Treating failure as data. Now, what about the more practical business-level actions? Financial integrity, operational transparency.
Okay. Financial integrity first. Define your goals clearly, personal and business. Build that emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of operating expenses is a good target for an SME.
Crucial buffer.
Absolutely. Create a budget. Track everything. Know your must-haves versus nice-to-haves. Be disciplined about spending. And aggressively pay down debt. Don't take on new, unsustainable debt just to keep up appearances.
Solid financial hygiene.
Essential. Then promoting transparency and integrity throughout the business. Leaders need to be open about their own limitations sometimes. That builds trust.
Vulnerability from the top.
Yes. Foster open communication. Actively ask for feedback, listen to it, and address issues honestly. Lead by example, live the values you preach.
Walk the talk.
Exactly. Maintain accurate records, strong internal controls that's non-negotiable for financial health and preventing fraud. Establish clear ethical guidelines and safe ways for people to raise concerns, like whistleblowing channels. Make ethics the norm.
Create a culture of integrity.
And finally, be truthful in your marketing. Provide accurate info. Share real customer stories. Be honest about your operations, even the challenges. That kind of authenticity builds far more lasting trust than any amount of faking it ever could.
It really sounds like authenticity is the long game.
It absolutely is.
So ultimately, this deep dive really highlights that while, yeah, maybe a bit of confidence can help open a door,
Sure.
true, sustainable success for your SME, it just isn't built on a house of cards. It has to be built on a solid foundation. Integrity, transparency, actual competence.
Couldn't agree more.
So the question, I guess, for you, our listener, is what areas of your business might benefit from a bit less faking it and maybe a bit more facing it or practicing it until you truly become the leader and the enterprise you aspire to be? Well, we hope you enjoyed another one of our episodes. And don't forget to like, share, and especially subscribe to our channel for early hidden episodes. And of course, if you want to learn more or get a qualification on some of the subjects we've covered today, then head over to We Teach Streaming Institute at weteach.stream to enroll in an easy-to-follow course that's just right for you. We've also added a Share Your Opinion link in the description, so you can earn free shopping points for leaving a video review. Yeah, we love video reviews. See you next time.